What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a figure that nearly took 5 years for me to finally collect. The Transformers Studio Series, Dark of the Moon, Shockwave. And this figure, mwah, chef's kiss, the most perfect figure of the Studio Series line. And one of the most expensive, rarest, and highly elusive and highly requested figure for a really long time. This figure originally came out in 2020. I missed out on it. Now, fast forward to 2025. We're here with the figure, and my goodness, this figure looks marvelous. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. Now, starting off with the packaging looks very, very nice. We get to see the figure inside, some nice artwork of Shockwave. I believe this is kind of the same artwork, but a little bit of a different color tone of the original Studio Series box. Here we have a tank mode, which looks nothing like how he looks when he transforms, I'll tell you that. Right here, the artwork continues. Right here, we get like some trees in the background. Looks really cool. Transformers Studio Series Leader Class, Shockwave, Dark of the Moon. And right here, we get a closer shot right here. I just really wish, since this is a reissue after all, they would put the number, but that's fine. I guess they're not doing that. And we get product shots of his early product shots in 2019. Him in robot mode and tank mode. He even comes with two little tiny minifigures, Braden's and Wheelie. They're really small, and one paratrooper figure. His little background is him with the driller, and then right here his little bio says paratroopers descend on Shockwave to stop his assault on Chicago. So yeah, the iconic scene where they go on his face and then the Autobots finally attack. And then at the top of the box says Transformers Dark of the Moon, Shockwave, and the figure inside with the plastic window. So without further ado, let's crack this bad boy open and see what awaits us inside. And here we have Shockwave out of the packaging, and wow, this figure looks perfect. It matches 100% his model in the movie. I really do like this. Now, the line from Transformers the movie where Megatron says, "I would have waited an eternity for this."
I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime.
Actually applies to real life. This is how bad I've wanted this figure for so long, for 5 years. When I saw him in 2020, I didn't pick him up. I should have picked him up, but barely now, until now, I finally picked up Shockwave, and honestly, the wait was worth it, because after all, I did use my gift cards and got it for a cheaper price. But anyways, moving on to the figure. The figure looks marvelous. It looks very accurate to how he does appear in the film. The paintwork looks nice. I really do love all the scratches that we do get on the figure. It looks amazing. All the battle damage that we get, it looks lovely. I really do like the rubber that we do get for the hands and the spear itself, as well as I believe the knee piece is also like movable. The toes are in rubber, and there's like multiple rubber points around the figure, and it just feels very fun to mess around with, and it just feels hefty. It just feels really, really nice. Now this figure's skeleton was the Revenge of the Fallen Megatron skeleton, so if you have that figure, the transformation is going to be near enough the same. But overall, the figure looks wonderful. Now, Shockwave does come with 3 accessories. One being this tiny little brains figure, which actually looks very nice. It's sculpted really nice. It's made out of rubberish, so if you know how like rubbery feeling feels, it feels like that. But I just say be careful with it, as it could be easy to rip. And also a tiny little Wheelie figure as well. Looks very nice. They both look accurate to their on-screen appearance, and I really do like that. Even though they were small, they still had time to make them accurate. And finally, here we have the paratrooper with a parachute, so that is really nice. It comes with that, and it's sculpted really nice. I really do like it. It's really nice. I really do like the material this is made out of, but I do feel like the strings can rip, so I'd be very careful with that. Now this figure, despite it being a very complex design, it has a lot going on, but still, it's kind of simple. The transformation is very simple, but I will show you some of the details that he does have. For example, on the cannon itself, he does have a lot of detail of battle damage, and like purple and gunmetal grayish purple color looks very nice. He does have 2 ports on the back for the cannon, so you could attach the hose on this port or that port. Well, they both attach to that main port right there. I do like how the vehicle mode compresses onto the back. It looks very nice. It's very hidden. You could barely see the tracks a little bit, but I do like that the whole goal of this was to hide it. His spear looks really nice. It's painted really lovely in this black and metallic silver for the scratches. Looks very nice. As I said earlier, rubber hands. Also, the head looks very, very nice. We could take a look at it. The eye is colored in a vibrant red. You could kind of see it right there. And then the face itself is painted in purple, gunmetal gray, silver, black, and a bunch of other colors. Looks very wonderful, and the body itself looks very nice. Now the articulation. The articulation is what is a little bit on my little negative side. I really do like the arm articulation. He could swivel around. He has a hinge joint at the arm. He has a hinge joint at the bicep. Hinge joint at the elbow. He does not have wrist rotation, unfortunately, but I didn't really expect it, as this is kind of an older figure and the design was kind of hard as it was, but I feel like they could have added it, not gonna lie. He does have leg rotation, so he could kick all the way around. He could go through full 360 with the leg if he wanted to. He has thigh rotation, but no waist rotation, so that is a bummer. That's what mainly made me kind of disappointed with this figure, is that there's no waist rotation. He does have a knee bend less than 90 degrees due to the complexity of the design. He does have an ankle bend and I think a foot pivot as well. So overall, this figure has a lot of articulation on the legs, but it's just the waist articulation that kind of messes this figure up. As far as this guy's scaling with other figures, first Optimus Prime and Megatron. Here we have Optimus Prime and Megatron next to Shockwave, and they scale accurately. I'd say Optimus scales perfectly with Shockwave. As far as Megatron, I'd say yeah. I usually have Megatron in this hunching position, as you see him here on the screen, but because Megatron is a little bit bigger. But overall, I really think that Optimus Prime and Shockwave's scale is accurate to the brief scene that they do have when Optimus Prime does punch out Shockwave's liver area and kills him. So I think this is accurate to that brief scene. Here we bring in Thundercracker and Starscream, and Thundercracker and Starscream do look alright with Shockwave. Thundercracker was never in the film, so we can never see if this is accurate. But as far as Starscream and Shockwave don't really share that many scenes with each other or at all in the Bayverse films. So I'd say this is somewhat accurate, saying that if Starscream is accurate to Optimus and Optimus is accurate to Shockwave, then he has to be accurate to Shockwave as well. Here we have Sentinel Prime, and here we have Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. And the reason for Revenge of the Fallen Megatron is because Shockwave's transformation is exactly the same, or in fact similar to Revenge of the Fallen Megatron, so that is why I'm bringing this figure in. But overall, back to Sentinel Prime, the scale is probably accurate as well. For some fast fire comparisons, first let's bring in Soundwave and Hatchet, Q and Roadbuster, Sideswipe and Dino, Leadfoot and Topspin, Cranecase and Crowbar, and finally Bumblebee and Barricade. And here we have an entire Dark of the Moon cast. Now let's start the transformation. So grab your Shockwave figure, sit back, relax, and follow along. Shockwave fully transformed into his tank mode, and to be honest, I really do like this tank mode. It looks very unique and it looks horrendous. I really do like that. The Michael Bay films had a bunch of unique and wacky designs, and this is one of them. Now, we never saw Shockwave transform in the film, however, we do have concept art leading to believe that he did transform into a tank that looked along the lines like this, or how we see in the Bumblebee movie Shockwave mold as well. But overall, I really do like this mold. It looks very nice. It copies a lot of engineering from the original Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen Megatron molds. So if you have that figure, the transformation is near enough the same where the legs are concerned and these little pieces where the face is concerned, the head is concerned, the hips and the back piece and the arms. The way they all fold is all similar to the Megatron mold. But overall, yeah, obviously this mold is a little bit bigger than the Megatron mold, and I really do like it. And I feel like this mold was easier to transform than the Megatron mold itself. But I did want to focus on all the details that we do get. We get a lot of metallic chrome and purple detail. This little cannon is molded in this rubbery plastic. It's very nice, as well as this. If I forgot to mention that, the painting looks very nice for the treads. We can see some bronzish gold, some black gunmetal, and he even has wheels. So he can roll around if you wanted to have him roll around. But honestly, I'm not really going to have him in tank mode as much because it just doesn't fit right in the collection. So I'll just have him in robot mode. But overall, yeah, I really do like that. And we do get some cannons on the back for if he were to fly just like Megatron. You could use these around and it looks really, really nice. And speaking of Megatron, here we have the Revenge of the Fallen Megatron next to Shockwave. And obviously, Shockwave is bigger than him. As far as width goes, they're near enough the same. The transformation on both of them is identical, where the legs have to fold a certain way, where the arms have to go behind the back, where the little ankle pieces connect to the head. So overall, it's pretty much the same. If you have the Megatron figure, you'll know what I'm talking about. Or if you have Shockwave and you don't have Megatron and you think of picking up Megatron, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you have both of these figures, you definitely know what I'm talking about. But anyways, here we have Megatron with Shockwave, and I feel like this scale, even though they never both transformed in the film, but if their robot modes are accurate to each other, I'm pretty sure their tank modes should be as well. Here we have another wacky design, being the Studio Series Bumblebee movie Shockwave. And obviously both of these transform into tank. The engineering is obviously different, but overall Shockwave, overall the Transformers IP wants to transform Shockwave into a tank. Not into a gun, or Megatron as well, not into a gun, as in the G1 comics they also transformed into like a gun or cannon, but now they chose a tank for the toys, which is cool I guess, but it's obviously to limit gun violence on toys. But overall, yeah, pretty cool on both of these figures. So some final thoughts for the Transformers Studio Series Leader Class Shockwave. I honestly really do like this figure. Now this figure, I've been dying to have this figure for 5 years, and I'm so glad I finally have it, and I'm just, my collection just feels so complete with this figure in the collection. I'm done collecting the Transformers Dark of the Moon characters because I already have this character. All I really need is a Dark of the Moon Ratchet if they re-release one, and a Dark of the Moon Ironhide if they ever make one. But that's about it for the Transformers Dark of the Moon series. I really do like all the figures that were released. As far as a ranking go, I'd say Shockwave is probably one of the top 3 figures. I really do enjoy this figure, and I recommend it for anyone who wants to have a Shockwave figure. And I say this figure is honestly one of the best figures. I saw this figure first in 2020, and then the aftermarket prices hit. I never got the chance to get it, and finally, barely now, I finally got it. And I'm so glad I got it, and I feel like this figure is pretty much worth it. I did get it on a discount, so I got it for like the price of a Voyager class or Deluxe class. Got it for $27 due to gift cards, but other than that, I'd say this figure is a really must-have, and it's a win in your collection. I really do like this figure. Now, as far as the ranking goes, I'd say this figure is a 10 out of 10. It's one of my most favorite figures in the collection. I really do like it. It's fun to play around with. It's very fun to pose around with. However, since there is no waist swivel, I'd say let's put it back at a 9 out of 10. But overall, this figure is perfect. I really do like it, and I really do recommend it. Now, that about concludes my review for this figure. So this will be one of the last Dark of the Moon characters you'll ever see on the channel. So yeah, say goodbye to Shockwave for a while. Now that about concludes my review. Now thank you for watching, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, and I'll see you guys at the next one. And in the words of Optimus Prime,
Transform and roll on!